Okay, factoring review. This is just an 11 question practice set. Feel free to pause and work them out before I work them out if you'd like to do that. But I'm going to go through these starting with number one. So when we factor a trinomial, that's going to end up with two parentheses. And we're going to guess and check. But it's easy to guess and check because I know that x squared has to break up into x and x. And I know that, so basically whatever I put here and here for negative 18 has to add to give me 3 as well. So what multiplies to give me negative 18? So I'm basically negative 6 or positive 6 and negative 3. I check that. 6x, take away 3x, that gives me 3x. So this is a good set of factors. That's correct. Okay, so I can stop right there. Guess and check. Know your multiplication tables. So number 2, x squared plus 7x minus 18. Alright, and the reason why we guess and check is basically foiling, but backwards. Okay? So, sorry. Next, right there, what multiplies to give me x squared, x and x. What multiplies to give me negative 18 and adds to give me 7? Well, that would be negative 9 and 2. No, positive 9 and negative 2. Because that gives you 9x. That gives you negative 2x, which is 7x. It works out. Okay? It's intimately tied to FOIL, y'all. Intimately tied to FOIL. 3, we got x squared minus 3x minus 18. Okay? What we got here is same thing. X and x. Now, they just have to add up to give me negative 3 now. Alright, so negative 18, so I'm going to go with negative 6 and 3. So negative 6x plus 3x, that gives me negative 3x. That's correct. So every time, all I'm doing, y'all, is foiling to check. Here's my first, here's my last. So if I do the whole FOIL, there's my first, there's my last. Okay? That's my outer and that's my inner. First, outer, inner, last. Look, all I'm doing is checking and see how it matches up. Okay? That's all I'm doing is checking. Now it really helps when you get here. So 4, okay. Now I don't have a choice of just x and x, but at least it's prime, so I know it's got to be 2x and 1x. Well, that's gonna, when you do your outer and your inner, this 2 is gonna affect that number over there. Okay, so it's not just, okay, two numbers that multiply to give me 6 add to give me negative 1. That doesn't work anymore. Okay, so now you have to literally put the numbers in the spots and check to see if they give you negative 1x when you FOIL it out. So negative 6, see, I'm going to go with negative 3 and 2. Well, negative 3 times 1 is negative 3x, and then 4x. And that gives me 1x. Sorry, positive. That gives me 1x. Well, that's almost right, except for the signs are switched. Okay, well, I'm going to switch these signs. Seems like a logical thing to do. So now we got negative 2 and positive 3. So now we got positive 3x, and now we got negative 4x. Well, that gives me negative 1x. That's a good set of factors. Okay? And if I wanted to FOIL it all the way out, which I don't have to, I just do my first and my last, because I already got my outer and my inner. I do my first and my last. That'd be 2x squared. And outer, inner, negative 1x. And then last, negative 6. It works out every time. And it's intimately tied to FOIL and multiplication tables and knowing how to multiply, add, and subtract. Okay? But beautiful thing about it is it's scalable. Guess and check works in very many different forms. Number 5. So let's look at 4x squared minus 2x minus 12. I asked y'all to combine things. So combining a greatest common factor with regular factorization. So here I noticed that 4, that 2, and that 12, this is going to be a difficult factorization because that's 4, that's 2, sorry, that don't matter. That's 4 and 12. Neither of those are prime. So I got many choices. I got 1 and 4. 1 times 4 is 4. I got 2 times 2 is just 4. And I got a whole bunch of choices for 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. Practically all of them. Okay, that's going to be very difficult. But if you do a GCF first, it's not that difficult. Okay, so if you see a GCF, you have to do it no matter what. It's a cardinal sin not to. So they all have 2 in common. I take it out. I don't know why I was about to write a plus. So, got the 2 out. The 2 stays out. 2x squared minus 1x minus 6. Now I factor it. Guess and check. Well, luckily for me, 2x squared is prime. So I know it's got to be 2x and 1x. Now I've got to check. I've got to guess and check. Well, I already did this problem over here. So 2x squared minus 1x minus 6, I'm going to do it the same way. So the factors are 2x plus 3, x minus 2. Easy peasy. Good set of factors. If I folded it out and distributed it, I'd get the same thing I started with. Okay, next we're going to do, I'm just running out of room here. Next we're going to do number 6. Okay, 6 is 6x squared minus 5x minus 25. Okay, so now we have issues, we have problems, because that 1, 2, 3, and 6 goes into 6, and then 1, 5, and 5, and 25 go into 25. So we have a big issue because there's a lot of guessing and checking to do. There's no GCF here though, so we're stuck. GCF made it easier over here. GCF can't make it easy right now, so we just have to go with it. Now what if I choose 1x and 6x? I might be dead wrong. I might go through all the rest of these combinations and be dead wrong. Not to mention negative 25, negative 1 times 25. Make a T-chart if you having trouble. Negative 25 times 1. All these things make negative 25 when you multiply them. That's what I got to put here and here. Now none of these may work because 1 and 6 may be wrong. That's when you just got to be able to add, subtract, and do mental math. If you're a real American, it's fine. You can do it. Okay, so, alright, so let's just throw something down. Negative 1 and 25. Well, that's negative 6x. That's 25x. Well, that gives me a whopping 19x. That's way far away. Okay? And I don't think it's going to get any better. Okay? Okay, so I don't think these are going to work. I don't think 1 and 6 were meant to be part of my problem. So I don't think 1 and 6 is a good idea. That's called intuition. That's what lots and lots of practice gives you. So I'm going to get 2x and 3x. And of course negative 1 and 25 is not a good choice. So let's do negative 5 and 5. Okay, that's negative 15x. That's 10x. That gives me negative 5x. That's a good set of factors. Okay, good set of factors. Alright, so number 7. Now, x squared minus 100. The guess and check method is applicable because all you're doing is reversing the foiling process. So it's even applicable to difference of two squares because this is a binomial. A binomial, the only way for me to guess and check this is to look at it like this. X squared plus 0x minus 100. Okay? So I can split that up. I could guess and check. Well, I know x squared breaks up into x and x. Well, I need two things to multiply to give me negative 100, but add to give me 0. Well, you're going to get the right thing every time. Okay, positive 10 times negative 10. Let's check it. 10x, negative 10x gives me 0x. That's a good set of factors. So, but I got a shortcut on these. If you recognize difference of two squares, dots, if you can recognize it, I can help you. I can make it a little bit easier. Okay? Let me pause this real quick. I don't think it paused it. It did not. Okay. Okay. So I'm really hoping this is going to start working here in a second. Alright, yeah. Sorry. Okay, so we're back. Alright, so the guess and check method works all across the board. So let's look at number 8. X squared minus 1. Alright. X squared minus 1, 8. You can look at it like a trinomial. So you foiled something out and you got that. What'd you foil out? That's the question. Guess and check. Alright, so if I foiled two binomials, I know x times x is x squared. What times what gives you negative 1 adds to give you 0? Well, that's easy. Positive 1, negative 1. Check it. 1x, negative 1x. It works out. That's a good set of factors. But going back, there's a trick to this. If you recognize difference, which is minus, there has to be a minus, of two perfect squares, meaning things you can square root. What's the square root of x squared? X. What's the square root of 100? 10. Notice something? X 10. X 10. Okay? Once again, difference. Minus. This only works with a minus of two perfect squares. Perfect square. X squared and 100 can be square rooted. Just like 9 is a perfect square. It can be square rooted. Just like 16 is a perfect square. It can be square rooted. All these numbers can be square rooted and therefore can be used with difference of two squares. But it has to be a minus. And it has to be an x squared. Okay? So let's take a look at this one. There's a minus, so it qualifies. Is the x squared a perfect squared? Yes. Is the 1 a perfect squared? Yes. Plus and minus. Okay? I call this the sum and difference. Okay? Difference of two squares. Sorry, that goes up here. Yeah. Difference of two squares, sum and difference. The dots are always sad. That's a little joke. Number 9. 2x squared minus 54. Okay, so we all love shortcuts, right? Well, there's a minus. So we start square rooting, but 2x squared, what do we notice about the 2? There's no square root. So are we mad? No. Okay, you have to remember your GCF. The greatest common factor is the holy grail of factorization. You must do it at all times. If you see a common factor, you must take it out. They have 2 in common. 2x squared minus 27. I goofed that problem up. Alright, so that should have started out as 2x squared minus 18. Okay, take out a 2, take out a 2. 2x squared minus 9. Now can you do this trick? Well, I still don't like doing that trick. I'm not about tricks. X squared plus 0x minus 9. This is what I see. I see x squared plus 0x minus 9. I know I need two things to multiply to give me negative 9, add to give me 0. And I know that that's plus 3 and minus 3. All day long. I can check it. 3x. Check it. Minus 3x. 0x. And I got my first. X squared. My last. Negative 9. X squared minus 9. Okay. Whoops. I'm running out of room here, apologize. So guess and check always works, especially with difference of two squares. Okay, now let's look at number 10 and 11. 4x squared minus 121. Okay, 10. Now here's where the tricks help, because if you look at it like this, 4x squared plus 0x minus 121, so you know that's 4x squared. It's got to split up into two things that multiply to give you 4x squared. Okay, so let's say I try 1x and 4x. Guess what? 1x and 4x will never work. So it's helpful to know the trick. The trick is, what's the square root of 4x squared? Because I see a minus of two terms. Okay, of two perfect squares. So if I see a minus and they're perfect squares, I can square root the first, 2x. I can square root the last, 121, 11. And then I got 2x and 11. If I remember, the difference of two squares always become a sum and difference. I can just put a 2x minus 1 and a 2x plus 1. There's a trick. Tricks help. But only if you understand the original process. Otherwise, you'll just forget it. Alright, 11. I got a funky little problem. Negative 6 plus 5x minus x squared. Negative 6 plus 5x minus x squared. Why did I put this problem up here? Because it's ambiguous. It's not even in the right order, so I'm going to put it in the right order. I'm going to say negative x squared plus 5x minus 6. Now I look at it and I say that's a negative. Oh my gosh. That's a weird face. Sorry. Meant to be a surprise face. Oh my gosh, there's a negative. That negative makes it harder. Okay? You don't want that. So how do we get rid of a negative? We can do a GCF. Take out the negative 1. X squared minus 5x plus 6. Okay? Now the negative 1 comes down. Now I notice that it's a 1x squared, so it's easy. X, and I just got to worry about what multiplies to give me 6, adds to give me negative 5. It's a positive, so you need two negatives. Negative 2 times negative 3 gives you positive 6, adds to give you negative 5. Let's check it. Negative 2x, negative 3x, negative 5x. That's a good set of factors. Oh, by the way, there are no examples. Alright, just follow, go back through and rewind it and practice it if you have to. Remember, the tricks help, such as splitting the middle term and all that, but it's basically, it boils down to, do you understand the guess and check? Alright, cool. End of this video.